this is such a weird story, Louis. The other day, elected officials, politicians, world leaders, and diplomats from around the world flew to South Africa for the Nelson Mandela Memorial. And one not inconspicuous element of that memorial service was an individual doing sign language interpretation for those who are hard of hearing. His name is Thamsanqa Jantjie. But it appears that he was not really signing. A number of different experts in sign language said he was not signing in South African. He was not signing in American Sign Language. A hard of hearing elected official said that he was communicating nothing with the signs that he was using. Let's look at a little bit of the video. And Louis, I don't know much about sign language, but upon looking at this, I'm seeing a lot of repetition of the same signs, none of which seem to have that much meaning in context of what's being said. Check this out.
Got a very respectable cheer from the crowd. You see the anguished faces of Winnie Mandela and Graça Machel and the children and the grandchildren. And eventually we'll start to hear the tributes. We'll hear from the family members. We'll hear from President Zuma, President Obama. A huge cheer went up when the Chinese vice president came in. I believe it's the vice president who's here representing China. And let's not forget, incredibly, the Chinese have invested so much in Africa, South Africa.
All across Africa.
Oh, it's just
Roads,
unbelievable.
everywhere.
And they've practically taken over, if not taken over, U.S. influence and investment here. From a foreign policy.
Okay, so it turns out that this was nothing. He was signing nothing, Louis, and he was very close to President Obama. He was close to all sorts of world leaders. And Thamsanqa Jantjie said in a 45-minute interview with the AP that he had hallucinations during the interpreting. He tried not to panic because there were armed policemen around him. And he said he had been hospitalized previously for schizophrenia. He has a violent past, and that he actually had to go get his medication on the day that he was hired to do this signing job. This is just incredible, Louis. I mean, first of all, the absurdity of a guy who, first of all, interpreters are supposed to be switched out every 20 to 30 minutes to prevent fatigue. And he was up there for hours, right? So that's number one. Number two, he's signing nothing. Like, he's just signing nonsense. And he's there next to Obama. It's all very professional and heartfelt. I mean, it just, you can't write something like this.
It's incredible. How did this happen? How was this man standing right next to the president of the United States? It seems that there clearly was no type of background check or anything on this guy.
Well, what's fascinating also is that government officials have tried to track down the company that provided Thamsanqa Jantjie for this event, but the owners have, quote, vanished into thin air, according to the Deputy Minister of Women, Children, and People with Disabilities. And I mean, it's just, you know, he's signing nonsense. He's communicating nothing. He's hallucinating demons. He has a violent past, and the company for whom he worked is gone. It's incredible. And of course, people are talking about security concerns. This guy was close to how many important world leaders? I can't even count the number.
Yeah, many. And I guess it wouldn't have taken much to have a little schizophrenic outburst and just, I don't know, stab one of them. It's pretty incredible.
He says he doesn't remember any of it when he was shown video of his nonsense signing. He says he doesn't remember any of it at all. You know, Louis, I actually remember there were a couple of deaf students in our graduating high school class, and I have my suspicions, I always did, that the interpreter that sat at the front of the class for them was also signing gibberish, because they rarely looked at her, and when they did, they looked so confused. Maybe it's a thing that you just all of a sudden have interpreters that are signing gibberish.
I certainly hope not. I mean, maybe they looked confused because they were just intensely focusing on the signs, but I'm sure, as I like to state, you know, there's plenty of incompetence out there in pretty much every aspect of the world in every job. So why would this be any different?
Yeah, I agree with you. So hopefully we'll get to the bottom of this and figure out what exactly happened.